where you came from. And you know, I looked at him. I stood there. I just stood my ground. I looked at him in the face. I said, "What?" You know. And this is where you kind of realize that people ain't really about it. Because when I stood there and looked him in his face, asked him to repeat it, he couldn't find the words anymore. You know. So you meet a few people that are, you know, they're cowardly and they're racism. I mean, if you're being racist like that, it's cowardly anyway. You know. But that just kind of showed me that certain people, they're not working with anything inside. You know, they're not coming from a strong basis, a strong foundation. You know.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting you to come back at him.
Yeah, exactly. And he didn't think I could speak his language either. You know, like I'm here. People don't think that I can speak German. Some people don't think I can speak German. I've been here 5-6 years, man. You know, I've got to learn the language if I want to live here, raise my children here.
Yeah, you learn to adapt. So let me ask, how many languages do you speak?
So I've just got 2 languages under my belt at the moment. It's the English and the German. But since learning German, my mind is expanded. You know, I'm stepping into other areas. So I'm trying to revisit some of my other languages that I learned back in the day. But yeah, I'm not too fussed about it at the moment. But yeah, having 2 languages is useful, man. It's useful for sure.
So where you said you're originally from London? You're born in London, or you're born in London?
Yeah, London born and bred.
Okay. And I remember earlier you were saying that you was on the streets. So when you mean the streets, that means you was out there, you was in the life of the streets, or that was just, you know, a expression, so to say.
Yeah, my father would have never let that happen. He looked out for us, man. He always made sure that, you know, that me and my brother, we were raised very well. We were raised very well, you know. My father made sure that we were educated, you know, had our heads in the books. You know, we were playing sports. We knew that we had a loving home. You know, we knew that we had parents that care about us. And anything we need, we can go to them, you know. So we had that strong basis, that strong foundation.
Definitely. So you had a dynamic dad in your life that was there as a leader, you know, and he made sure he nurtured, you know, your mind, body, and spirit to get you to build you into a leader, so that you can be strong and confident in who you are. And like you said, when that guy at the supermarket tried to shake you, you had a strong foundation, so you wasn't scared to express yourself.
That's it.
Yeah.
No basis, that doesn't happen, man.
Yeah, so as we talk about that, man, of racism, and you talk about the different levels of racism that you expect in the UK and in Germany, how do you see that here, man? After you watching from way across the pond, man, and you watching what's going on, where the cities are burning down, and the youth are saying, you know, we're tired of this, what's going on. You and I both know, we go back to the history, this is nothing new. You know, we've been going back for a lot of years, and, you know, you being over there in the UK, I was over there I went like for a vacation, and I was in Madrid. I felt the racism there when I was in Spain. And then we traveled, you know, throughout different parts of Spain. And I felt that racism where the Chinese didn't want to they didn't want to talk to me at all. You know, they would refer to Africans to me when it comes to buying something. They would just look the other way and put the newspaper up to the face, and Africans would come over there and talk to me. But the Spaniards, they didn't have too much interaction. They see me as a tourist, and that was about it. You know, the women talked to me more than the men. When it came to me trying to find direction or ask something, if I approach the men, they look at me like I'm crazy. They not like they don't understand me when I know they did. But the women were more acceptable to helping me, even though they knew I was a tourist. And I wasn't African, but I was from America. And so I got those 2 stigmas. I'm black. I'm from America. I'm a tourist, and they don't want to be bothered with me. So tell me a little bit about your experience. How you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've done some traveling as well since I've been here. You know, it makes it a lot easier to visit neighboring countries. So I've been to Austria, I've been to Belgium, I've been to Croatia, Slovenia, all the surrounding countries, and a bit further to the east. And yeah, man. I mean here where I'm based, it's all right. It's okay. You know, people will help you out if you make an effort. So if you're like, all right, I've been here for a certain amount of time, and you know, I speak a certain amount of the language, then you'll get what you need. You know, you'll get what you need. When I was out in Slovenia, that was a bit different, because I don't think, like, Germany, it has black people. There are black people in Germany. It's got a long history of you know, like U.S. soldiers being over there.
Yeah.
Even before that, you know, going back to the early 1900s and the 1800s, you know, there's been black people in Germany. But over in Slovenia, it's a lot rarer. Like, the whole time I was there, I didn't see a single other black person. You know, so walking down the street, it was like, you know, I'm the hottest show in town. Like, people be watching, and that's when, similar to what you mentioned as well, you notice you get a certain type of attention from the females, but the males kind of, you know, they step in and they change the like how she would respond to you, you know. So I think they feel very threatened.
Oh, of course. Of course.
You know, that's something I notice everywhere, to be honest. Even here, when I'm walking down the street and I see a guy walking with his girl, and I'm coming in the opposite direction, you know, he just holds her a little bit closer. You know, might go in for the kiss, just to kind of, you know, try and establish his territory. It's like, I'm not even coming for all of that, man. You know, but I mean, you can see the subconscious fear that exists.
Yeah,
You know?
like you said, all around the world, man, the black man is feared. And you can see that fear is getting a lot of black men killed here in America because of that fear. You know? But what is your reaction to that, man? Just seeing it. How are you feeling about that?
Man, it's one thing to know these things happen and, you know, read it in history books, listen to people talk about it. You know, I've listened to hours of Malcolm, Neil Fuller, you know, these type of people are pointing out everything that's going on. But, you know, we're in the age where you can get that live to your screen, you know, real time. And it's crazy, man. I saw, what is it? A guy walking out in the streets of Santa Monica, just pulling out a gun. Just put out a gun, you know, just waving it around. And, you know, I don't think he pulled the trigger, but just knowing what could happen in that kind of situation, in that kind of scenario. You know, I've been hearing about people just getting attacked like it's the Purge, the movie The Purge, you know? People just out there with blades trying to catch a body, you know? And it's turning into a lot of what it wasn't intended to be.
Yeah, but
it's chaos, man.
But in America, man, I'm 53 years old, bro. And in my lifetime, that's average. That's normal. You know what I'm saying? The profiling is normal. The racial profile is normal. Just the killing is normal. You know, just the fear of walking down the street, like you said. You know, the tension is always, that's normal. If you go into a white neighborhood, there's a tension. There's always that fear, that competition. You know, so that's a normal thing, man. For us, for me. For my son is 20 years old. He just called me a little while ago, about a half hour ago, and said, "Dad, I'm out here delivering in a certain area. It's called Matthews, North Carolina, which is majority whites there, you know." And so he says, I was delivering, and I was going back to my truck. And as I go back to the truck, a guy drove past me, and then he slammed on his brakes real hard. And so, then he backed up and said, "You're loved and appreciated," and smiled. He didn't know how to take that. You know what I'm saying? I said, "Well, Josh," I said, "well, maybe the guy was being nice. You know, there's a lot of different religions right now. They're being very apologetic right now. And what's going on? You know, they want to be very apologetic." He said, "Well, I was kind of nervous. I didn't know what he was going to do. You know, I didn't know what was going to happen."
Yeah, man. I mean, at that point, all you have is your conditioning to go off. You know, your instinct, and it's like, yo, there's a car backing up in my direction. I mean, even when you were just telling the story, I'm like, yo, what's about to happen, man?
Exactly.
You know? That's that conditioning.
I had to tell him, you know, as he's going through, man, he's delivered pizza before in New Jersey, and he's encountered some of these things. So I'm like, oh, you got to start remembering, you know, what you felt like before, so that you can be ready when these things come up, man. Use your phone, bring your phone up and start emailing, you know, texting somebody or calling somebody, but you got to be on your guard. You got to put that bass in your voice, like, yo, can I help you? You know, what's the problem? You got a problem? Now put him on the defense. Make him start asking some questions before he start asking you questions. Like, what's wrong, man? You look for somebody? You know, and that's how we got to be in America. But unfortunately, when we do that, somebody do that against the cops, they think we disrespecting the authority figure. You know, they want to come back at you like, yo, I said do such and such, and then they want to put their hands on you. And we all both know if the cops put their hands on you, you can't push them back. Once you push them back, you're resisting arrest. When did I get arrested? When did I get arrested? We were just in a conversation, and now I'm resisting arrest. You see how it goes so quickly to I'm my authority, and you don't have the authority to tell me or ask me questions, and I'm gonna put my hands on you because I want to, because I got a badge. And if you don't listen to what I'm saying to you, you don't get on the ground, you're resisting arrest, and now we're going to handcuffs, and next you know we got Floyd dead. We got Eric Gardner dead.
Just like that.
Just like that, bro. Just that little conversation we just had. And all this started from a counterfeit $20 bill, bro. I went yesterday to a gas station to get gas, and I gave the man $25. So I go back to the pump, and I go to pump the gas, and it stops. I'm like, what's going on? I'm hitting the button. What's going on? So then all of a sudden I look up, and I turn around, and the man standing there and say, hey, you gave me a $25. You gave me a phony bill. I'd never seen this man before. I'm assuming I didn't even assume he was a manager, because I'm turned around, and there he is, right? Instead of coming to the front of me, he went to the side of me on the other side of my car, thinking that we might get some kind of attention. So he didn't come face to face with me. So I turned and looked. I said, what are you talking about? I gave you a fake $20 bill. He said, yeah, the bill was fake. I said, all right, well, look, let's go back inside and let's handle this. Give me that 20 back so I can take it back to whoever gave it to me, and let's handle this. No, you can't have the 20 back. I said, well, we're going to do something because I just gave you $20. So it was not $20, it's fake. I said, all right, let's do this. Let's go inside. I'll pay for the gas for my car. You call the cops, and then we'll handle it that way. But with Eric Garner, they called the cops. I mean, not Eric Garner, but when Floyd did that and they called the cops, we see the results of that. But he's a bigger guy than me. I'm not a big guy. So when the cops saw me, we was eye to eye. So I think they didn't have any fear, but we understand the conversation where it was going. Mm. So how many stories can you give me within 20 minutes like I just gave you?
Man, yeah, that's where it's different, you know. That's where it's different. I think in the States everything is real. It's like that. It's intense. You know, a lot of the stuff I went through was more like undercover, insidious, you know, to the point where like there was a point I thought I was just going crazy. I'm like, am I imagining these things happening to me? You know, it's just the certain looks that people will give you, the certain way they speak to you, you know, when you walk into a place looking for a job, you know, the way people treat you, you know, that's stuff that we all know. But in England, in the UK, they're masters. They are masters of that undercover racism. You know, they've mastered it. That's it. But at the end of the day, it was that's where it all began. It all began with the UK. That's where they ran up into the States in the first place. You know, it was the English. It was the English.
Exactly.
And yeah, man.
Exactly.
And they've taken that racism, that game of racism to new levels.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's like here in the States as well. I mean, in the South, because the South, that was born in their blood. They're raised to think that they're privileged and they've always been above us because of slavery. They don't have no fear in telling you, nigga, get out my face. You know? You could be in Texas and they got their guns on the truck and they walk by you. Woo-ha, nigga, what you doing over here, boy?
Yeah.
You be like, what you say? I said, nigga, what you doing over here? They ain't worried about no repercussions. They're like, they got the guns on the side, so they be like, yo, you see my gun? You know? And in certain parts of the South, they look at you and be scared, but their eyes are saying, I don't like you. But in the North, it's that very, like you said, they're very cunning, because now they got the business, the corporate, so they're like, hi, how are you doing? Can I help you today? I just walked to the store. What do you mean, can you help me? I mean, let's the store has service, and it's a drugstore. Saying hi to me is okay, but now you're saying, can I help you? What you gonna help me find in a drugstore? I know what I want. I want some cold medicine. You gonna get that off the shelf for me? Why you follow me around? You know what I'm saying? You got that kind of things that happen in certain stores when you go in, or young boys go in 3 at a time, and the Arabs or any other nationalities, like only one person in the store at a time. What do you mean, bro? It's a store.
Yeah.
That you got to go into those kind of restrictions because of my skin color. And so you see the tension that's going on in America. If I'm telling you all this, how do you think you would feel on an everyday basis? This is about as tours I'm telling you right now.
Mm. Yeah, man.
That's
It's intense.
the tense right there, man. That's why you find young men. How old are you, by the way, man? How old are you?
I'm 29.
29 years old. So
Mm.
what you see out there in those streets right now is brothers like you.
Yeah. Exactly.
They don't know if they're gonna live or die to see 32.
Right. All right.
I'm
But
thankful I made it to see
that's why it's fine.
53.
You
Yeah,
know.
but little Johnny ain't thinking like that. He all he think about is going to college, getting his 4-year degree, and going back to his dad's or uncle's business, and he got a job when he graduates. When you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't think that way.
Nah. Nah. Man. I mean, in a way, it can be liberating. You know. Like I literally wake up every morning and I'm like, all right, this could be my last one. This could be my last one. What am I gonna do today? You know? And just the way I like to approach it is particularly as black men. It's like we know we're living in a world where our life could be taken just like that. There are people that believe they are entitled to take our life just like that. So with that knowledge, you know, we got a choice. We can waste that day, you know, waste that time, destroy ourselves, or we can just do what we're supposed to do, you know, speak our truth, hold it down for our people, and you know, we might get killed anyway. But it's like, what are you willing to die for? You know? And that's I'm conscious of the fact that once you go beyond a certain threshold of truth, especially in regards to this system that's oppressing, that's trying to control us. Once you go beyond a certain threshold, you're entering dangerous territory. You've got eyes on you. You've got people that are watching what you're saying, who you're communicating with. You know, but for me, it's like, you know what? If this is what it is, then I understand. You know, if this is what Malcolm died for, I understand. You know, if this is what all them other revolutionaries that have been fighting for our freedom, for our consciousness, this is what they died for. All right, I understand. You know, we can't be wasting our life out there. But if our life gets taken in the pursuit of ultimate truth, so be it. That's the way I see it. You know.
Yeah, and you know, and I'm not saying, and for us, man, a lot of us, I say for me, like I said, I'm 53 years old. So for me, I came up in that mindset that you're beginning to have. At your age, I was real radical. My hero was Marcus Garvey, Nat
Mm.
Turner. You know what I'm saying? Malik El-Shabazz, Malcolm X, Paul Robeson. You know, I could go on with Stephen Biko. Those were names that I could spit out on a regular because that's my uncles. They were my cousins. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They was my brothers. So where they walked, I wanted to walk. You know, Huey Newton. So those are the guys that I walked out. You know what I'm saying? And so when I saw hearing James Baldwin speaking about, what do you mean? What do you mean? He's like, when is enough is enough? You know, Langston Hughes. When these guys were talking about the revolutionary, you know, I was right there with them. I understood what they was talking about because I was living it. Even though they was, you know, way ahead of me, I was still living it. We still
Mm.
living what they talked about 30 and 40 years ago. We still living what Marcus Garvey dealt with hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
You know, so how do we deal with that, man? I'm right now. I'm talking about the trauma in the house. That's what my tag was when I was talking about Facebook Live the other day and all this week. Is a trauma in the house. That's a traumatic experience to know that you could feel what the brothers felt when they came off that slave ship and pushed into the slave blocks. We can still feel that today. We still go through that anguish today, bro. Can you just imagine that, bro? That you don't know if you're gonna live or die, and these brothers came from Africa and didn't know if they was gonna live or die to see. They know they was never gonna see Africa again. They didn't see so many of them thrown in the overboard and fed to the fish, to the sharks or whatever. And now they're here in a foreign land. They don't know which way they're gonna go. They've been dropped off in the islands. They don't know which way to go back to get home.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's tough to deal with,
That's
bro.
that has a crazy effect on people. That's in our DNA. You know, like you're saying, man. That's, you know, we still feel that.
You gotta feel it, bro. You gotta feel it. My man put it to his perspective the other day to me. He said, if you eat a caged chicken or a wild chicken, will you be able to tell the difference?
Good luck. Good luck with that.
He said, one is going to be a little more gamer than the other. So you're going to tell the difference from the wild chicken because of the way it's raised.
I see.
You know what I'm saying? It's in his blood. It's in his DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And that's similar to where we are. We are at that point where, look, I'm trying to survive, bro, but this is who I am. You don't want to accept it anymore. I don't care if you accept it anymore, but this is who I am.
Mm.
How many times have you had a gun pulled on you?
Never. No, once in my life.
How many times have you hung around guys that carry guns because they just felt, I gotta survive?
Yeah, I've been in that environment. Yeah.
Did you ever have to see a cop ride by and think about, if he turns around, we all better run, or we better just get up out here because it's not gonna be good if the cops comes back? Did you ever think about that? Did I lose connection with you?
So this connection.
Yeah, we got it.
I don't know.
So just tell me,
checking if it's mine.
Give me some information about how the cops treat you over there, man. How does the cops treat you?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, just speaking on London now. I'll get to Germany in a second, but yeah, growing up in London, they're big on stop and search. That's the thing for black kids, you know. So obviously we don't have as many firearms out there, and most of the police don't carry guns either. But it's stop and search. That's what it's about. If you're looking a certain way, you know, you're wearing a certain thing, you got your hood up, and your skin's too dark, you're probably gonna get stopped and searched. Especially when we're talking about in the center of the city. You know, there is a degree of violence, but I think they're sort of smarter about it because they know that they don't have firearms. And when they're dealing with a whole group of young people, they're not sure if they can take them. So they have to they act differently. But they still have that power, that perceived power, to walk up in your face and tell you to open up, like empty out your pockets, as if they're looking for something.
Yeah, I saw that when
it's just profiling. So profiling.
Yeah, I saw that profiling a little bit when we was in the airport, and I was in we were in Barcelona, or no, we were in Rome. We were in Rome. We were about to come back home, and we got stranded in Rome for like 4 days. And so at certain times, there's like a curfew in the airport. And so when they came through, they were asking everybody for their ID, their passport, to make sure they should have been in the airport. You know, that kind of search. I mean, of course, it wasn't a lot of me over there. It wasn't a lot of brothers, so they wasn't going through them, but they were still searching. Like you said, over there, they don't have a lot of guns. The cops don't wear guns. And that's mandatory here for them to have a Glock 9, you know what I'm saying, with 16 rounds in it.
Yeah. Man.
The cops gotta have guns here.
Thinking logically, that doesn't make sense. You know, if it's your job to protect, it doesn't make sense to be carrying around, for what? You know?
They love guns here, man. But guns are glorified here. I mean, you got guys in the South they got submachine guns, man. They got guns that you got over there in the military over there. Like the guys that walk around M16s, they got all kinds. They got the serious ammunition over here. They sell them in the stores. I can go to the store right now and I can buy them almost any gun I want.
Part of the culture.
Yeah, part of the culture.
Ingrained into the culture.
Right. Yeah. It's survival of the fittest. It's engraved in the culture.
Yeah.
So tell me about Germany, though. What's the vibe in Germany with the cops?
Yeah, I mean, there's some of them that carry firearms. But over here, again, it's a similar thing. You know, it's with profiling. So I like to watch them. So they stop people out on the street here sometimes. There's a school over the road. But it's mainly white kids. Once in a while, you'll see a darker child there. So, You know, when they find their way to a black or a brown child, I'm keeping my eyes on them, and I let them know that I'm watching them as well. But they seem, I don't know, they don't seem as brave. They don't seem as brave as the UK cops, to be honest.
Wow.
They got something about them, but they always move in packs of 3. You never find them in less than a pack of 3. So if there's 2 of them, they're slipping. They're slipping already.
Hey, I hope I got you on Facebook Live, right, man. I got a few listeners, and I hope the listeners really understand the language that you're using as a cop. You're saying they're not as aggressive. They're not aggressive, and they kind of sense of, you know, they got to understand who they're approaching and how they deal with you. That's not so in America, bro. It's the opposite. Like, I don't care who you are. You know, pack of 3, pack of 2, pack of 1. We're gonna treat you like bubble gum. We're gonna chew you up and spit you out. That's a whole different vibe, man. Whole different language than if I put it on a younger brother your age would say. It wouldn't be the same topic. You see what's going on in the streets. You hear what they're hollering in the streets about the police, F the police.
Yeah.
Why, you know, that's because of the way the police treat them.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's why, like, just speaking to my friends and associates here in the UK, you know, even like anywhere else in the world, the way most of us see it, like, America that's the front line, you know. That's the front line of this, if you want to call it a war. I don't even want to call it a war, to be honest. I don't want to give it that much power, that much credit. But in the sense of, you know, where are black people under attack? Like, America is the front line. You know, there are people under attack worldwide. You know, Africa's going through hardships at the hands of, you know, colonialism, imperialism. But that's being systematically, you know, bled dry. The front line of the assault on black people is taking place in America, and has been for a while. That's the way that a lot of us see it.
From the beginning, bro. From the beginning. Since we first dropped here in Virginia, you know what I'm saying? Since we dropped in those borders, that's been there, man. From the beginning. It hasn't stopped.
That's it.
I mean, we're not dying by the hundreds of thousands like we were back then, but we're still dying nevertheless. The numbers ain't no different, you know, numbers are still there. We're not physically being hung, we're just being shot now.
Yeah, man. And these black children being kidnapped as well, you know.
Oh yeah, nobody's talking about that, man.
It's not in the mainstream, man.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just missing, just gone.
Missing, and then found with the organs taken out of them.
Right.
For the black market. Nobody's talking about that. A lot of kids being missing and then being cut up for the black market, for medicine and all these other things they're using the organs for. Nobody's talking about that, bro. I mean, we got the drug traffic still going on, sex traffic going on, but they're not talking about those missing kids come up with them and they find them with the body parts missing.
That's it. Yeah, man. So you can't depend on mainstream media for this news. Like, that's been a mind control operation from the start, from the get-go. You know, you divert your attention where they want it. Like, we got to stay conscious of the fact that everything is happening all the time. You know, it's not like, oh, it's put like the last week or so, the past few days, nobody's talking about Corona anymore. It don't exist. Corona doesn't exist anymore.
Right,
you
exactly.
know, it's you know, we know where they want our attention. So that's the good part of that is it helps us to keep our eyes open. So wherever they're really trying hard to get us to look, you know, we can start looking through it rather than right at it. You know, look through it, take a step back from everything. You know, everything that you know, everything that you've learned up until that point. How can you use that to inform, you know, what's going on in this situation? And that's I mean, that's where it becomes more spiritual. It's always a spiritual battle, man. Is that kind of stuff you can't always intellectualize your way through it. You know, at some point you just have to listen to your heart and say, you know what, this is what I know to be right. And we gotta come from the heart.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
That's what we do.
Yeah, let me ask you a question, man. It's real deep. I want you to give me from your heart, man. Do you listen to the American music, to the rap music over here?
Yeah.
So what type of music do you listen to? And does the type of music that you listen to, how does it influence you? And how do you think it influences the young people that you see over here?
So me personally, in terms of American artists, I listen to a lot of like Beast Coast, you know, Pro Era, Joey Badass, Flatbush Zombies, all those guys from the East. And I listen to the West Coast rappers, you know, Kendrick, Absol from TDE, Isaiah Rashad. Who else do I really listen to? Generally, I like to listen to rappers that have, you know, they're speaking a bit deeper than the surface, man. They're not just coming out here talking all this materialism, you know. There's a place for that. It can be fun, you know. Sometimes a beat just bangs and you have to dance to it. That's all good. That's what we do as Black people. When it sounds good, you know, we're involved, man. But in terms of what I spend time and energy on, it's I like to listen to stuff that makes me think, makes me feel. Mos Def is one of my favorites as well. Yasin Bey.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, man. You know, poets. These are poets out here. There's that. I mean, you know this, but that's how that whole hip hop culture. That's what it was about from the start. You know, it was consciousness. It was teaching people truth. You know, before the movement was co-opted and hijacked.
Right. So what do you think
serve a
about
different agenda.
what do you think about those guys that speaking of trap music, man? Do you think they speaking with this revolution is being fueled by?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So, I mean, first of all, I think that's when these people, when they're making music from the heart, it just is what it is. You know, if you're speaking from your reality, that's cool. I can vibe with it. You know, if your reality was, oh yeah, you know, I picked up a gun at the age of 10 and shot this many people, I can vibe with that if you're coming from the heart, if you're speaking your reality, you know. But if it's someone to come out there saying it just to say it, then it's, you know, it's different. I can't vibe with that. So in terms of what's fueling everything that's going on now, the raw material already exists inside of everyone. That's just the desire for freedom. You know, that desire for freedom that lives in all of us. And when that's been pushed down, eventually you're gonna kick back. You know, it's our desire to be free. And sometimes that can get fueled by what you listen to. Quite often it is fueled by what you listen to, what you take in. But yeah, man, the way I see it, everything's popping off because this exists inside of us. This spirit of, it's not even rebellion, it's just, I'm free. You know, I am free. So I'm gonna get free. No, not all of us know how to get free, but all of us work from where we are. We do the best we can with what we have, you know? So a lot of people out in the streets right now are just doing the best they can with what they have.
Yeah, so give me, from you, man, from your perspective, what would you tell a young man your age that you see is going through what they're going through right now, the rage that they're in? Like I told you, I explained to you like 4 different scenarios what I went through within a couple of days. And we're talking about over a lifetime, I could go on more and more and more with different racial profiles. But we're talking about every day you turn on the news, you find somebody got shot. Even during this situation, there's still people getting shot and killed by the police. They just showed in Atlanta, I think it was, where 2 young people were in the car and they pulled up, and the guy was on the street. He was crying because he didn't know what was going to happen to him. He was fearful, and so they pulled up, and the police are talking to this young man, and they said, "Hey, why don't you leave him alone? Can he just get in the car with us?" Let him come on. He's besieged in fear, and next thing you know, the cops turned on them, flattened their tires, attacked them in the car, tased them, and they didn't do nothing. So even in the midst of a riot, people are still getting killed.
Yeah.
Still getting beat up on camera. On camera, they're still getting beat up. So how do you combat that, bro?
Yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough because at a time like this, And again, it's easy for me to say right here, sitting down. I'm not on the front lines, you know. So it's easy for me to say this, but I mean, the answer is always to get organized, man. You know, I mean, your generation's been through it, generations before that, and generations. And it seems in each generation there's a point where it hits, you know, where shit hits the fan. It's like, okay, this is it right here. And then something else happens and it simmers down and we go back to sleep again. And then find ourselves in the same situation and just, you know, going through peaks and troughs. But just from where I'm standing, the way I see it, the answer is always is, so first of all, organization, but knowledge of self as well. You know, a lot of this, like I told you about the incident in the supermarket, and a major reason why that didn't faze me, and why a lot of these incidents of racism that I face these days, they don't faze me, is because I know who I am.
Exactly.
So it's like there's nothing you can say. There's nothing you can say that's going to take me away from that. You know, this was hidden from me for so long, but now I know this. Now I know who I am. Nothing you can say, and now I know who you are as well. Nothing you can say can take that away from me. You know, I know where I came from, and I know where you came from. You're acting like that because of where you came from.
Yeah.
You know.
But the one thing when we talk about that cultural thing, man, I mean, what do you call? Let's think about this. What do you call yourself? What kind of label do you give yourself other than your name? When you talk about your ethnicity, your race. Not even say race. That's not even a word that we can use. But your culture. Who do you say you are?
So first of all, I mean, it depends on who I'm speaking with. You know, I use black. I use black a lot of the time, just from an understanding point. But when on a deeper level, the term I use is original. Like original. I am original man on this planet. You know, I'm a direct descendant of the original people of the earth. So I am an original.
Yeah. But in America, bro, we got so many terms for ourselves, brother. I mean, if I were to really go street, I'd say, yo, you my nigga. You know what I'm saying? You my nigga. But then we know in the South, that nigga say, nigga, if you don't get out of my way, nigga, I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah.
You know, or I'm an African American. I'm a black man. I'm an Asiatic man. I'm a brown man. You see where I'm going with all the different names and terms, but does that really define you who you are? Like you said, the original man, does that define you? Does that give you a purpose or a sense of being of belonging? If I say I'm an African, I'm an African. And then the African might say, you're not no African. You're not an African. Right. You never stepped foot on Africa. You don't know nothing about the continent of Swahili or Kenya. You don't know nothing about that. You can't claim me. You can't claim my continent. So where does a brother like myself go when I know this is America, I'm American. And we got others saying you're not American. But that's all I know is what I lived in, what I've grown, what I've built. That's some serious trauma, bro. That's some serious pain when you know your forefathers, your great uncles and aunts and nephews, you know, they built this country and you say it don't belong to me. It belongs to me. It belongs to us. We got our president saying that. Let's build make America great again. When America said build America great again, I was property.
Yeah. Man, you know, but what that whole attitude ignores the fact that you can't claim a country that, first of all, nobody can really claim it per se, but you know, just on a higher level, they came here from Europe. They came over to the States from Europe, you know, and yes, there were some Africans that were enslaved and brought to the States, but there were also black people in America before the Europeans got there. There were black people in America before the Europeans got there. The Europeans came and slaughtered everyone and enslaved everyone else. That's it. That's it. If that's your claim to my country that I'm going to make great again, fair enough. But that's a pretty fragile foundation. That's a very fragile foundation.
But for you understand what I'm getting at when I'm saying as me as a man, as being living here all my life, and other than traveling, which a lot of brothers don't do, we don't travel, and you know that for yourself by being there. You can count on your hand how many Americans you done ran across, unless they're in the military. We just don't travel like that. So if we don't get that experience or abroad, all we experience is this oppression here in America. And that ain't comfortable.
Right.
You getting oppressed in the UK and in Germany, but that oppression in America, like you keep saying, the front lines, yeah, that's war. When you in the front line, bro, you in the worst of the worst. You in the war zone, brother. Everybody ain't coming to the front lines because too many dying on the front lines.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to the front lines. If they give you orders to the front lines, you saying all your prayers. Lord, have mercy on my soul till I make it back home to see my mother and father. Because you don't know if you're coming back or you go to the front lines. That's what we face with over here.
For sure. Yeah, man. Now, the way I see that is, like, you know, they say that when people are closest to death, that's when they find God. You know? So I kind of see it in that aspect. It's like y'all on the front lines have the greatest danger, live in the greatest danger, you know, among black people. But being so close to that point, being so close to that pressure is what creates so many conscious revolutionary individuals. It's being right up close to that pressure, you know? So, you know, I'm a coach. I coach people to create their own life, the life they desire. And one of the concepts that we really work with is the idea of transmutation. So taking all that energy, all that negative energy that's been thrust upon you that you have, and turning it into a positive. All right, that's the true magic. That is alchemy. Taking that negative and turning it into a positive. That's what it all comes down to, and that's more possible on the front lines. So as shitty and dangerous and crazy as it may be, that's also the point for the greatest potential for transformation.
Yeah, that's definitely the point, man. It's 2 points that you made, man, and I'm going to hit on that. One, that Albert Einstein says, out of chaos comes great opportunities. And so I say that often because right now, the rich are getting richer, and the poor seem to be getting poorer because they're thrust into this where we have a pandemic when everybody wasn't even working. They were out of jobs right now, bro. So you got other people that's getting richer off of what we're going through right now. Homeless people out of a job. They're struggling to get food to put on their tables. And you got the other ones still feeling privileged watching that go on. But the thing that you really touch on that's the hardest, man, I'm not even going to put, you don't even have to put a title on it. And when we talk about spirituality. So we wouldn't have to say if you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. The spirituality is what's most important that you touched on. The inner self, knowing thyself. Staying true to self, having a spiritual connection with God has got you a foundation that nobody can move you. And that's how I feel. I don't care what nobody else says. I don't care what anybody else do, because I can worship God in spirit and truth, and I don't have to worry about none of that. But the problem is that we have a lot of disconnect here with a lot of young people who are not gravitating to that. They're not trying to find themselves. They're not trying to reach back and understand their culture or who they were and where they came from. And then get to that spirituality sense that I don't have to worry about if somebody accepts me or not. That's some of the harsh reality. We would all want them to be converted and be transformed by the renewing of the mind. But when you hear brothers out there that's in despair, that's struggling towards life, you would think he would gravitate to God more and say, "I'm going to kneel I'm going to pray right now, and I'm going to find a higher spirituality. I'm not going to seek revenge." But when you, like you said, when you on the front lines, bro, and you got bullets flying over your head, you scared.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
But I'm just trying to paint that picture from where you living at, from where you sitting, and from where I'm sitting at. I can go out my door right now and get profiled. I don't know. You said you can get profiled, but they scared. Not say scared of you, but they got a little more ease with you. If I go outside and get profiled, I might get jacked up and be on the floor or on the ground, handcuffed
Mm.
and trying to explain what just happened. That's a
Yeah.
difference, bro. That's some serious reality. You like I said, right now it's almost what? It's what, almost 9 o'clock there, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we coming up on like 20 to 8, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on the West Coast, so for me it's only 10:35, 10:40. So I got a lot of brothers that's on the East Coast that's listening to me. They on the East Coast, that's 3 hours ahead, you know. So we right now
Mm.
we pushing the clock around, you know, we pushing that clock right now. You being over here in Germany, and I'm here in the West Coast, and I got brothers on the East Coast watching this, man. So I'm not even gonna hold you up anymore, man. Like I said, we just came on really just to meet each other, man. We got real deep into a whole bunch of conversation, man. It went all the way around to a lot of different points in life, and I hope we could talk some more, man, and we could reach another spirituality level with these brothers and sisters that's listening, and those that might be watching, but those that we could reach it. I work with, like I said, I'm gonna just give you a little bit of me before I even go. I work with men. My platform is called Dynamic Dads, and that's where you see me on IG. And so that's why I came at you and I talked to you about what you were doing, because my platform is Dynamic Dads, and then I have a sister company called Magnificent Moms, and we're here about rebuilding the structure of the family. Trying to, like you said, being a coach, trying to empower and encourage and elevate that man to be a strong black father, or whatever father is, where nobody needs to coach, but just be a father in your child's life. That's what I encourage. That's what I
Mm.
try to rebuild. That's what I try to restore. That's what I try to bring a young man who's in a situation where he said, I don't know how to love my son or my daughter because of the thing the world has hit me with so much. I've been traumatized. I never had a father that loved me. So now you talking about spending time and loving my son or my daughter. I don't know how to do that. The whole verbiage, what's in you will come out of you. If it's not in you, you can't give it back. And so that's what I try to rebuild in men to get them to understand that that's your seed, that's your son and your daughter. And we also, when we talk about the culture and we talk about Africa and the villages that they live in, that was their culture. We took care of our people. We had pride in our family. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks.
But in America, my great uncle or my nephew or whatever, they were torn apart, sold off, and now I don't even know him. I'm a Jenkins, but now he across town here in Washington. That's my brother, but his last name is Washington now. We don't even know each other. We don't even talk no more. He done learned a different language. He done learned a different culture of a mindset. But he's a Washington, he's a Johnson, I'm a Jenkins. We didn't come with those names from Africa. We didn't bring those names from Africa.
Right.
So you
Right.
see what I'm getting at, man? And so as I touch base with you, the thousands of miles you are away, the hours you are away, you're still my brother. I feel that I've come back to that connection that we reunited as brothers, and now we could talk as family. We can hold each other accountable. That's a
Right.
powerful thing, man. That's a powerful thing that we can say, for this is the day that God has made. We can rejoice in it, and we could both be happy that we met back up with each other.
That's it.
So when you go back home, you call your dad tonight, tell him you met your brother on the other side of the land, that you met your uncle. I'm looking forward to speaking to my brother. I want to meet the
That's right.
family
That's
one
right.
day, man. Tell the family, I said, what's up?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You feel me?
That's it. That's how we built. That's how we connected, man.
Yeah. So
Mm.
I'm not gonna hold you up, man. Just give me some words, man, from that straight wisdom and that spirituality that you got, man, to talk to these people that's over here that's going through some tough times on the front lines of America, man. Talk to these youth, man, that's angry right now. They not angry because somebody took away took $5 out of the pocket. They're angry because somebody killed another man, another woman.
Mm. Yeah, man. I mean, all I gotta say to that really is, like, there's a reason that these people are after you, man. And let me put it this way: robbers don't go into empty houses. All right. Robbers do not go into empty houses. These people are after you because you have something so powerful, so profound, so deep within you that they don't have. So they're coming after you because they hate themselves, all right? They haven't cultivated that self-love, which is why they disconnected you from your roots, all right? And why they taught you to hate yourself the way they hate themselves. That's it. That's it. What you represent to them is an end. There's an end to this tyranny. Everything that's going on, there's an end to it, all right? And they're unwilling to accept that. So they're going to throw everything they have to try and survive. But they can't outlast that which is eternal. And that's what you have within you. All right, you got to get to know yourself. You got to get to know who you are. And you have to know your oppressor as well. Know where the oppressor came from and know why they are doing this to you. Once you have that is that foundation. That's the foundation that you build the rest of the house on. You're solid as a rock. You cannot be moved anymore. Once you know that, once you know who you are, you cannot be moved. Yeah,
Yes.
man.
That's some deep words, brother. That's some deep words. And hopefully a lot of people that's hearing this will share it and it would touch and move somebody, man, that they come to their spiritual sense and their cultural sense of knowing who they are, man. Because like you said, man, I mean, I'll give you some last parting words, man, and I'll let you go, man. Shaka Zulu knew who he was, right?
Mm.
We know how
Yes,
bad of a
sir.
warrior my man Shaka was, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
So when we look up the history of Shaka, boy, they were scared of Shaka. We also talk about the Moors. You know how scared the Spains was of the Moors.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
So we understand that deep history, man. They know that history too. They knew what we did then, and we could do it again. It's projected that in 2030 that the Europeans will be the minorities.
Yeah.
That's 10 years, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like that.
Just like that, man.
This is with them doing all of this. So despite all of this that's been happening, it's still going that way. So that the tide cannot be turned at this point. This is the will of the universe, you know. This is what's meant to happen.
The last shall be first, and the first shall be last.
Right. Right.
Hey, man, this is Dynamic Dash, positive and attitude, full of energy and new ideas. And I want to thank you, my man, Solar, for coming on, man. I want to thank you, brother, for sharing your wisdom with me, man. And hopefully we can come back and do this again another time. Anytime you feel comfortable, you want to give me a call, man. We ain't got to do no recording. We ain't got to talk about no different issues, man. You my brother, you know what I'm saying? You my nephew. Call me up. Call your uncle up. Let's talk, bro. You got my number now. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up on IG, hit me up on here, and let's talk, man. I need to meet my nephews over there, bro. I need to, you talking about you was prime time. I had some skills back in the day. I want to see if you still got something, bro.
Yeah.
So let's get back together, man, and see what's going on, man. Like I said, tell the family over there I said what's up. And soon all this corona thing goes on, man, I'm gonna pop over there and see y'all, man.
Hey, for sure, man. For sure.
All right. So once again, man, thank you for coming on, man. And let's keep this family connection going, man.
Definitely.
All right, Prime, you do your thing, man. Stay safe, brother.
All right. Peace.
Later.
All right.